Hey there, my fellow author. I'm Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer, an old soul kind of writer living my dream as a full-time author and authorpreneur. But I didn't start out living a confident, creative lifestyle. I struggled with the fears and the mental and emotional barriers that so often plague writers at all stages of their author career. But the truth is that with the right knowledge, tools, and training, you can overcome those barriers. I'm here to teach you how I've developed a lifestyle that's allowed me to publish 19 books and counting. Each week, as you tune into the Confident Fiction Author podcast, you'll get clarity on the steps you need to take to advance your writing career. Whether it's developing your ideal writing routine, tackling new skills like dictating your fiction, or overcoming the obstacles life throws your way, this podcast will help you live a more confident, creative lifestyle. Let's get started. Well, hey there, my fellow confident fiction author. How do you like your new title? Does it sound like a good fit for you, or does it scare you a little bit? It's actually okay to feel both of those things. I still do from time to time, but I think confidence is something we as authors can all lean into a little bit more. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Sarah Elizabeth Sawyer. I'm an author of 18 historical fiction books, and I'm a tribal member of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and I dictate all of my first drafts. And now I'm taking all of my knowledge and pouring it into fellow authors to empower them to live the creative lifestyle they've dreamed of. Now, I adopted the title of Confident Fiction Author for you when I was creating the new homepage for my site, fictioncourses.com. I started the brand a few years ago with my signature course, Fiction Writing American Indians, then added the Dictation Bootcamp for Authors. But I couldn't put my finger on the theme for my overall teaching platform. The authors I teach helped me develop confidence as a theme. I'll share more about their feedback in just a bit. When it came time to name this podcast, I knew it needed the theme of confidence. You will see that throughout the podcast episodes, and my hope is that you will begin to feel and embrace it for yourself as you learn the techniques and tools of the writing life. Confidence is something you need to take the big and small steps in your writing journey. So in this inaugural episode of the podcast, I'm going to talk about what the dictionary definition of confidence is, what that word means for authors, and what it means specifically for you. Then I'm going to wrap up with asking you an important question. If you're ready, let's get into it. I went on dictionary.com and looked up the word confident, and used as an adjective, it has several meanings. Among those are having a strong belief or full assurance or being sure. It's confident of fulfillment and being positive and certain of that. It also means being sure of oneself, having no uncertainty about one's own abilities, correctness, successfulness, etc. It means to be self-confident or bold, as in a confident speaker. That was the definition of the word confident, so I also looked up confidence, and it had some similar thoughts in there, but the one that I gravitated toward was at the end, and it's the archaic definition of confidence, which is fitting for me. I like old words and older meanings of words, so I looked at it, and it said confidence is something that gives you confidence, ground of trust. And I really love that because that's one of my goals with teaching authors is to give you that place of trust in your abilities and your gifting as a writer. That doesn't mean that we don't need to consume craft books and go to writing conferences and be critiqued and have editors. It just means that you have that confidence in what you're writing and how you're writing it. Which is what threw me off with some of the other definitions of being like self-confident or overconfident. That was also listed in the dictionary definition. And there is that caution that we need to have as authors to never become overconfident in what we're doing and always approach our writing with a sense of humility and openness to feedback. That said, most of the authors that I know and that I've taught do have the opposite problem, where they lack confidence in what they're writing and what their writing process is. So, in talking about other authors, I have worked with hundreds of authors now, and really thousands when I count summits and podcasts, and it's been just such a privilege to pour back in to the author community. I teach on a couple of hard subjects that not very many are tackling, including how to write Native American characters in your stories, and I have so many authors who thank me and say that my course and my teachings give them the confidence and assure them that it's absolutely okay to have Indigenous characters in their story, or that they got the details that they need so they could apply them with confidence, and just feeling much more confident that they'll get it right. For dictation, I have authors who come in with the lack of confidence that this can work for them. It works great for other authors, but it's just not for them. And so one author shared with me how she had been wanting to try dictation for ages, but didn't know how to jump into the deep end. But my boot camp took her into the shallow end and got her swimming out into the deep waters with confidence. And another author said that she went from doubting to confident in 4 classes. In my most recent boot camp, I had an author who did tell me straight away that she came into it really not expecting it to work for her, and was amazed at the level of confidence she gained in being able to dictate her stories in just a few days. This idea of confidence expands beyond, though, mastering a new skill with writing, like with dictation, or how to navigate the complexities of writing about characters who have had experiences that you haven't. It's really that uncertainty of pressing into writing itself and really taking on the identity that you are a writer. And that brings us to you as an author. So going back to the dictionary definition, another one that was interesting is it said belief in oneself or one's powers and abilities. And again, going back to that self-confidence, self-reliance, which I think we need to be careful of as authors and just generally in life. But the example sentence that they included really grabbed my attention. And it said, his lack of confidence defeated him. And I just thought that was profound in thinking about us. How often has our lack of confidence defeated us in using the gift and telling the stories that we were meant to tell? I think some of the hardest and saddest stories that I've heard from authors or authors who are aspiring to write and they've never crossed that line of actually writing is someone in their life along the way discouraged them from writing and embedded this lack of confidence in them. This might have been something that you experienced. One author that I'm thinking about, she loved writing, went through school, and did well with it until she got to high school. And she had one teacher in particular who belittled her and always made a point to mock her writing in front of the class. When graduation time came, this author had received a small scholarship, and the teacher came up to her and said, I hope you don't waste that scholarship on a writing degree, because you may sell a greeting card someday, but you will never be a real writer. And so she didn't. She did not write. She didn't go to school for writing, and she did not write for many years. When she finally did, her debut novel hit the New York Times bestseller list. And so if this is you, if that lack of confidence has been defeating you in your writing life, I want you to do something right now. I don't know where you're listening to this podcast, if there's anyone else around, but I want you to verbally or at least mentally and in your heart declare, I am a fiction author. It's best if you say it out loud. Just say, I am an author. and own that identity. Make that declaration. That's something I did many years ago, and it changed my identity whenever I would introduce myself to people and I didn't quite know what to say about who I am or what I did. When I finally latched onto and had the confidence to just say, I'm a writer, it totally changed my approach to writing and helped me begin developing the lifestyle that I now enjoy as a full-time author. Okay, so we've covered the dictionary definition of the word confident or confidence, what it means for our fellow authors, and then specifically what it means for you as a fiction author. So let me ask, are you a confident fiction author? I hope the answer is yes, especially after declaring yourself a fiction author, maybe for the first time. Or maybe it's not been an issue for you for many years. You've been able to embrace the identity of being an author, and you're looking to take that to the next level and really develop it into the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of. So whatever your level of confidence or lack thereof, I hope this episode helped you define it for yourself so that you can take action that will empower you to live your best creative lifestyle as a fiction author. If you're wondering about next steps, I have 3 of them for you. 1, listen to this podcast each week. I'll be covering a variety of topics from mindset to craft to confidence, all the tools and hacks you need to develop your creative lifestyle. So listen to the podcast. The second action step is to go download a free copy of my Confident Fiction Author Toolkit. That's at fictioncourses.com/toolkit. Inside this short PDF, you will find my primary tools that I use in my writing life. I created it so that you would have that opportunity to get a behind-the-scenes peek at the software that I use, my computer type, the books that I like to read that help me keep my lifestyle on track. Again, that's at fictioncourses.com/toolkit. The third action step that you can take is in rating and leaving a review on this podcast. So leaving a 5-star rating and review is what will help spread this message to your fellow authors and help them gain confidence alongside you. Just like with book reviews and getting discovered on the retail sites is super helpful for us authors, it's the same with podcasts. It will truly help this podcast to get discovered. So if you received value from this on your journey to becoming a confident author, please take a minute to leave that rating and review. I promise to read each one. I'll be back soon with another episode of the Confident Fiction Author podcast. Meanwhile, we don't have a word for goodbye in Choctaw. We say, Chipisala Chiki. I will see you again soon. Take care.